Hey, it's Brendan here from WP Speedfix. In this video, I want to talk to you about our franchise SEO. This is one of the services we offer. We manage the SEO for franchises on an ongoing basis for a number of different franchises. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about this service and just our strategy and general approach. So franchises have some unique challenges. They also have some unique advantages when it comes to SEO. In some ways, the difficulties come with the type of franchise, how it's set up, the size, the number of locations, and just the general way the franchise operates and how the master franchisee, the master franchise works in relation to marketing and all the franchisors. But there are also some advantages. So, because a franchise is basically a group of local businesses, there are some advantages, particularly when it comes to SEO and link building. So you can get, at the most basic level, having coverage across a lot of local locations or suburb locations or areas is an advantage, but also from a link building perspective. So each location can have its own unique set of links, whereas if it was just a standalone business, you just have one set of links. So there's kind of power that because of the way the business is set up, it's a group of businesses. That power combined can rank the site much more high, or can rank the site higher for a lot of terms, or a larger variety of terms and a larger variety of locations because of that. So there are some advantages there, but it needs to be done right. Let's talk about some of the strategy in our approach. A lot of businesses today still have the outdated approach to SEO where we rank number one in Google and that's the goal. And that doesn't really work anymore because number one differs depending on the device, the location, where the user is, the SERP layout, the search results also completely different. You'll typically have 4 Google ads at the top. You might have some sponsored Google Maps listings. You might have some AI search. Right now, Google is showing Reddit and Quora and some of these other type of aggregator sites or forum sites as well in the mix when it comes to local searches. So there's a lot more challenges today with SEO for franchise businesses. So it's more than just let's just rank number one. So the approach needs to cover needs to be much more strategic. And needs to cover a lot more areas. So let's talk about a few of those. So this is on our website. If you go to specialists at wpspeedfix.com, under specialties, you'll see franchise SEO services is one of our specialties here. And let's just talk about a few things here. A few things that, there's a whole bunch of different areas that need attention. It's not just, let's rank number one. So local SEO and maps ranking. So that's pretty obvious, pretty straightforward, but some gaps here. So a lot of people don't think about Apple Maps, for example. Apple Maps drives the Maps app on iPhones, or the default Maps app on iPhones. So if Apple Maps listings are wrong or incorrect in the wrong location, which is very, very common because most of those listings are auto-generated. They were auto-generated off Yelp or even Bing years ago. So it's quite common to see locations just in the completely wrong spot. So having an Apple Maps strategy, also having a Bing Maps strategy. ChatGPT by default uses Bing search, which means for local SEO and franchise related searches, it's going to go out to Bing first for information it needs. So that means that having Bing Maps or Bing Places listings up to date and accurate and having reviews on there is significantly more important than it used to be even just a year ago. So that needs to be part of a local SEO strategy as well. So Bing and Apple Maps carry a lot more weight than they used to for those reasons. Brand SEO, let's talk about this. So, making sure you rank correctly for your brand and what the brand SERP looks like is really important today, particularly with competitors getting smart and advertising against brand terms, and then also review sites taking advantage of brand terms. So depending on what market you're in, there are some aggregator sites that actually are leveraging brand search to take business away from you. And we see this very commonly where it's not exactly franchise SEO, or maybe where it's a hotel chain, but in the accommodation space where big sites like Booking.com and Agoda and Airbnb will bid against brand terms and Google ads and push the actual brand way down the SERP for brand searches. And they'll get a commission. If they get that booking, they get a commission for essentially nothing, for basically just squatting those brand terms. So brand SEO is really important, and brand searches are probably the highest value search because it's people looking specifically for your business. Now, I'll say we also need a brand strategy for competitors. So in some of the spaces we operate in, we actually run those brand ads or ads against other competitor brands, and they do convert. So there is a strategy there to do the opposite. So looking after your own brand search, but also chasing competitor brands as well. And quite often those leads can be quite a bit cheaper than head terms. We have some clients in the trade space where this tactic works very well, where there isn't a lot of brand loyalty and there isn't a lot of differentiation between services, and the market isn't necessarily very sophisticated. So things like brand search ads can work very well. And I would suggest that you probably can't get away without running Google ads for your own brand in this day and age. Let's talk about NAP, so name, address, and phone number, and citation consistency. So citations are basically a mention of your brand around the web. So a name, address, and phone number is called an NAP, and the consistency of your citations or NAP across the web are really important. One, because you don't want customers visiting the wrong location or getting old business information, but two, the NAP and citations are basically the link building in local SEO. So those citations and the consistency or the quality of those citations will drive Google Maps rankings in particular. So particularly for a franchise business where you have a lot of locations, and especially for an older franchise, you're going to have a lot of locations that have come and gone or they've moved. So having those citations up to date across the web is really important. So not just for raw rankings, but for customers as well who may be going to those locations. Let's talk about AI search, so AI or GEO or LLM search. So again, like I mentioned, Bing is driving ChatGPT for the most part. So anytime it goes out to the web, it's using Bing search. So at a minimum, having those Bing Maps listings up to date is really important. Secondary to that, if you're an e-commerce business or have an e-commerce element of the business, having Bing shopping set up is going to drive that portion of the search results inside ChatGPT. So that would be at the most basic level, making sure that you're fully indexed in Bing and all those Bing properties are up to date and accurate. There are more broad strategies. There are tools for tracking rankings in LLM. So if that is driving a large part of your business, then that would be more important, and ranking for longer tail terms or things, search terms that are kind of higher up in the funnel, top of funnel or middle of funnel terms. But that is a bit more, it's more of an advanced strategy. At the bare minimum, again, having being up to date is important there. Review funnels and automating review funnels. So reviews are critical, and even more so now that search is fragmented across so many different platforms. So making sure that you have a review funnel that is completely automated and baked into the business or business processes, so those reviews happen on autopilot, is critical. And it's once, or a business that's got hundreds of new reviews every month is very hard to catch up with. So if you have this set up on autopilot and you're getting hundreds of reviews a month, it's very hard for a competitor starting from zero or starting from a low number of reviews to catch up with you. There is also activity on particularly Google Maps listings is correlated with higher rankings and rankings for a broader set of suburbs. So an automated review funnel can go a long way towards helping Maps listings rank higher. So this is an important one. It's really important it's baked into the business processes so they happen on autopilot. Likewise, reputation management goes hand in hand with reviews, making sure that you have a process in place to deal with negative reviews. It's the law of the numbers you're dealing with. If you're dealing with hundreds or even thousands of customers, there is going to be even just crazy people. It may not even be the fault of the business. You may not have done anything wrong, but you're always going to have someone that is unhappy and is going to go online and put reviews everywhere, sometimes depending on how unhappy they are. So having a system in place to monitor for those negative reviews and doing something about it is critical. So it's not even the case of getting rid of them, just looking proactive, having a reply to those reviews is important. And customers are not stupid. They understand that it's natural you're going to have some bad reviews from time to time. So this is important. Content strategy. At the most basic level, and content strategy can be simple or it can be complex, but at the most basic level, if you don't have a page for something, you can't rank for it. So at the most basic level, that is a page for every product and service you sell and a page for each location. So that would be the starting point. And you'd be surprised at how many franchise businesses don't have that. If you don't have a page for something, you simply can't rank for it. That's a basic rule of SEO. So making sure that those boxes are checked is basically the cost of entry to ranking for certain search terms. So secondary to that, moving the first step of the sales process online would also be a relatively simple strategy to implement. So whether that's buying online, booking online, like real-time booking, the ability to see comprehensive product images or specs or videos online before someone books or buys or makes an inquiry, that is taking the first step of the sales process online. So that is part of content strategy and often very overlooked. There's also an innovation factor there. If you have that first step of the buying process online, someone can sit on the couch on their phone scrolling at 9 p.m. at night and can kind of work through that process. That puts you ahead of competitors. That's a form of basic innovation, marketing innovation that can really make a difference long term, especially in this more competitive world when we're dealing with AI search or LLMs or whatever. Backlinks and content promotion. This is pretty straightforward. Cornerstone of SEO is getting backlinks to a website. And like I said, franchise businesses have a bit of an advantage here because you can get links for every single location, and that is an easy way to beat competitors. In more competitive spaces, you need a more aggressive content strategy, and you might need digital PR depending on how big the franchise is, but this needs to be part of any strategy. Google Ads goes without saying. I don't think you can be competitive anymore in search without Google Ads, especially on mobile. So if you load up any search term on mobile, you'll see that there's 2 or 3 scrolls before you even start looking at organic search results. So the only way to really be at the top of the page on a mobile device is Google Ads. There's just no way around that. Google Ads is often very much ignored, but can work very well, particularly where the sale is a higher dollar amount, a specialty product, and where the numbers can justify spending a bit more on customer acquisition. But really that's about maths. It's about paying. How much can you pay for a customer, and what are they buying, and how you convert them. Call tracking and analytics. So we use CallRail by default. Ranking isn't the end goal here. Getting a call, getting an inquiry is what we need, or getting a sale ultimately. And without call tracking and analytics, you've no idea what part of the funnel or what part of the marketing is working or not working. So it's important that we have some sort of call tracking and form analytics in place so we can actually go back to the source of the inquiry. Ideally, we want that system hooked up to a CRM. So not only are we tracking the leads, we're tracking what happens after they call, what happens to that inquiry, how are we managing it and nurturing it. But that's a whole separate conversation. Email marketing. So email marketing needs to be a part of franchise SEO strategy. It's, depending on the type of franchise, it's often completely ignored, yet most franchises, especially older ones again, have huge customer lists that have been built over years, decades almost. And these are one of the most valuable assets a franchise has, and probably one of the most underutilized assets, and probably the cheapest marketing channel too. So it's really important that there's some sort of basic email marketing in place to manage customer emails or get emails from customers and manage those and leverage those on an ongoing basis, having some sort of basic offer. Even a simple service business like a plumber can take advantage of email marketing with customized or intelligently built offers that go out to the market. Typically, or broadly speaking, with any list of customers, people who've bought from you before, at any time, 1 to 3% of that list is ready to buy now. So if you have a list of 100,000 customers, 1,000 of those people, maybe up to 3,000 of those people are going to be ready to buy now. If you do email marketing, let's say you have 100,000 people on that list, and only, let's say 40 or 50% of them open that email. Let's say 50,000 people open it, and 1% of that market's ready to buy now. That's still a lot of people for something that's pretty simple. It takes a couple of hours to do a mail out. If you're doing it for the first time, set up an email marketing tool, but those numbers work really well. Conversion rate optimization. This doesn't have to be complicated. This can be as simple as making sure that the numbers on the website are click to call, any phone number mentions. It could be something like having conversion optimized forms on the website, like the form we have on the WP Speedfix homepage, or it could be more advanced like A/B testing, but it doesn't have to be complicated. So having simple things like an early close on the content, ensuring all those phone numbers are clickable can go a long way to improving conversion rates. Technical and marketing innovations, we kind of talked about this already. This is things like having real-time online booking on the site, stuff that adds real value for customers. So these kind of things set you apart for competition. It can boost conversion rates, allows you to spend more on ads too. And last one, technical SEO and site speed optimization. This is, it can be simple, it can be complicated. You know it yourself, if a site's slow to load, you quickly lose patience and click away. Franchise websites are no different for this. And particularly where competition can be fierce in local search, site speed is very important. Technical SEO is increasingly becoming important, particularly with AI search. So in the age of AI, crawlers becoming much more aggressive. So technical SEO issues and site structure issues can really hurt rankings in ChatGPT and other LLMs. So that's really important too. That's pretty much it. I'll keep it short. I've tried to keep it short for this video. If you want help, head to our website. You can request a free audit. So if you just go to our homepage, wpspeedfix.com, you can request a free audit there. Let us know, give us some details on what you're looking to do, some background about the business, send through an inquiry, and typically one of the team will come back to you within one business day or so and tell you how we can help. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, put a comment on this video and we'll happily come back to you. Cheers.